Welcome to the LongBox Paradox, episode 112. We are here. We're back. We are still alive. We have a new president officially.
As much as things change, sometimes they do still feel like they stay the same. There's a lot of work ahead of us.
I'm here for the Bernie memes all day, every day.
The best.
The horror ones that have been popping up have been like the best. Him as the twins at the end of the hallway from The Shining.
Right my God.
My front runner. They had him with the Wu-Tang Clan. There's also him with as a member of DX from WWE.
I think my favorite so far when it comes to like comic and horror memes is I saw, and I posted on Instagram, him as Crypt Keeper.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
So I put that on my stories, and then the other one was, of course, him as Dr. Manhattan on Mars.
One of the ones I'm really enjoying is him on the couch with I forget the character's name now. From Scream, on the couch with Ghostface behind them. That right now is kind of a favorite. Also, The Mandalorian. There's one with him as the hologram. Okay. I'm here for all of it.
I'm glad that that's the like wholesome memes that we're getting right now. It could be so much worse.
Oh God, like there's so much bad that could be happening right now. So like I'll take it for what it is. Mm-hmm. So I just saw today the CEO of Boom listed that there's a 1 in 1,000 of Berserker or Berserk with Keanu Reeves. It's a signed variant.
I did just see that. I think Andrew from Comic Book Campaign, I saw him post something on his Instagram story about like the speculation, and that makes so much sense.
And he went to eBay already, and it was like $2,387.
Who needs Kickstarter when you have speculators?
Yes, until the one store is stuck with 1,000 copies of Berserk. So like always, we're going to start. Well, not like always, but the last 3 weeks, we're going to start with Future State. You are too short this week.
I am. I'm not exactly sure what happened. But I mean, it's probably it. I'm going to go ahead and say it's my fault because I basically told my shop, like, hey, just go ahead and give me like every single DC Future State title that comes out each week. But I didn't like pre-order or put it on my pull list or anything like that. So I only got 4. I'm missing Shazam and Next Batman. So I'll be able to pick them up next week. Unless there's like crazy speculation, crazy rumors going on.
I'm going to start with Catwoman. Rom V wrote it with Otto Schmidt art. Mm-hmm. Yet again, another issue with a lot of protesting going on in it.
Yeah, this one gave me serious Snowpiercer vibes, man.
Yes.
When I was reading it, and of course in all of them, I think that there's actually like a Snowpiercer ad in the front or somewhere in it. So it's kind of funny to see that. Catwoman, this one surprised me because it was my least favorite book out of the 4 that I did read. But I mean that in the way that I loved the other ones, and I'll get to those. So even though I still really enjoyed it, the other ones were like more at the top of my list.
This wasn't bad. I was expecting worse out of it. I thought it was going to be really bad, and then like they threw a character in here that like shows up like once every 5 years. Onomatopoeia.
Yeah. Who only says, oh my goodness, he only says sounds.
Yes. Speaks like bang.
Yeah. I think there was one that was like whip, whip, pew. So that was kind of a cute moment with this.
Yeah. Again, like it wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it was better than I expected, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I had low expectations for it.
I say this knowing that I didn't read the two books that I mentioned earlier, Shazam and Next Batman, but this week has been probably my favorite week so far. Where I liked the four that I read. Even though the first week I loved Swamp Thing and I loved Wonder Woman, I just think that this one, I did not hate any of the books. Where there were like the first 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, there's a title that I just do not enjoy.
There was one I kind of strongly disliked this week.
Ooh, what was that one?
We'll get to it when we get to it.
Oh, okay.
For Catwoman, I think I'm like a 5.5, 6 on it. Like, it didn't move the needle. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was good-ish. Weirdly, I think a lot of it is because I've had so much of Rom V's books that I've read recently that, like, right away hit so good that, and I guess that's my own expectations.
Yeah. Especially, like, I know I keep talking about it, but seriously, Blue and Green was my favorite book from last year. And thinking about Catwoman and even thinking about Swamp Thing, I think that was just excellent. So Catwoman, I mean, it was good, but obviously was my least favorite of the four I read this week.
Immortal Wonder Woman by Becky Cloonan with Michael W. Conrad, her partner and lover. And
I didn't know that.
Yes, and Jen Bartel on art, which her doing full interiors you don't see very often. Like, not since, what was it, Blackbird, or what was it?
Blackbird was one of them, yeah.
Yeah, that was the last book I remember her doing, like, full interiors on. Weirdly, I thought her style kind of changed in this title.
There definitely were moments where her artwork looked more cartoonish than comic booky.
I felt darker.
I mean, there was lighting changes for sure, especially whenever we do see a certain character pop up.
Yes. I like this a lot. I'm always hit and miss with some artists who write. I thought this was one of Becky's stronger writing issues that she's done.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed the backup story with Nubia.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That one was a good one, but Cloonan didn't write that one. Was it Martinez who wrote that one?
It was L.L. McKinney with Aletha Martinez writing.
Yeah.
Aletha Martinez penciling.
Got it. I liked that one. I felt like the dialogue between the characters was really was well written. It didn't leave me feeling because sometimes, especially I think about the first week and I think about Flash, how I just felt very left out of that one. And obviously that was because I'm not like too deep into Flash. But I think that these were mostly written for people who haven't, this is a way in for a lot of people. So I enjoyed Nubia a lot. And like the conversation that she has with her aunt, I thought it was good.
Also, this was a good blank slate issue because something happened or is happening. It's not steeped in anything that has happened. So Immortal Wonder Woman, you can walk into literally just blank, knowing nothing, and you can enjoy it. And that's something that we said, like, if you're going to do these things, like, don't steep in all this fucking history.
Yeah, or if you do it, do nods to it, but don't
spend a lot of time on it.
Don't spend a lot of time on it. And I think that sometimes movie adaptations do that really well, where they will do little nods to people who know the material, but then make it easily accessible for people who don't. So I think that one, Immortal Wonder Woman, not to be confused with Wonder Woman that came out week 1.
This was about 8.5 for me.
Yeah, 8.5 sounds right about right.
And again, like, I'm always here for Jen Bartel doing interior art. And that Peach Momoko variant I even really enjoyed as well.
Ah, I unfortunately didn't get that one, but if I can get the A cover of all these, then I'm good.
One of the like color shifts I really liked was right here how bright it gets with the inking and coloring. So they definitely did like depending on what world you're in, and I am here for this all day.
Yep. That was a good one.
So yes, I am 100%. That's a buy for me. Like if you didn't buy it yet, like go pick it up. I don't know if it's gonna spec, but it did go to second print already.
Oh.
It sold out through their distributors.
Okay. I'm here for any of them to sell out because usually that means that it's popular. Not that I have any ulterior motive to like sell, because I've got like 5 long boxes now that I just want to sell and get rid of, and I haven't yet. So
you should do one of those live claim sales.
I feel like that would just be so overwhelming. I may have to do like a mini baby one. Maybe I'll do a mini baby one on Instagram. Who knows?
That's what I was saying. IG live and just be like, have a hammer, like sold.
Just
ham it up. A book I was not looking forward to. That was Future State Nightwing.
I loved this one.
I wasn't looking forward to it when it was announced.
Yeah. This one was like a surprising hit for me. I thought that I went into it thinking I'm not really going to care for this one, but I don't want to say that it was the most enjoyable one because I feel like all of them were really enjoyable. But Nightwing, I think the dialogue between the characters, it stayed true from what like I've seen with the characters. So I thoroughly enjoyed Nightwing, surprisingly.
Well, once I saw Nicholas Scott was doing the art, I knew I was going to be in for it. And the writer didn't do a bad job. It also kind of filled in some blanks of what was going on with these magistrates and all this crap.
I felt a lot more in tune into what is going on with the magistrate because for anyone who, hasn't really kept up with it or has no clue what's going on with Future State, it's basically this alternate timeline or this future timeline where it's weird to see it being people who are anti-mask. And what we mean by that is that they are anti-vigilante.
This was made for Sid.
Yeah, that thirst trap right there.
Like 100%. I was like, this was 100% for Sid. Also, you had the other Batman show up. The next Batman.
I like that they the way that Nightwing was basically like because Nightwing is in Arkham Asylum and there's this kind of like cat and mouse game between Nightwing and the protectors or the peacekeepers, whatever they're called. So there's this back and forth between them and vigilantes are not allowed. So these protectors, magistrate, whoever they are basically like, well, we're going to try to catch him. And they, spoiler alert, plant something on him. He goes back to Arkham Asylum, and then Batman, also the new Batman, finds him there and ends up hiding out for a moment. And he's like, what? You led them here on purpose? And then they all go there. But there's this exchange between Nightwing and the new Batman where he's like, Batman's like, I'm Batman. You can go ahead and unmask me to see who I am. And Nightwing's like, no, bro. Like,
I already know.
Totally. I already know. I respect your privacy. Like, I just thought that was really cute for him to be like, I respect your privacy. That was kind of a cute moment, I guess.
Probably about a 7.5 on this for me.
Yeah. I think because it exceeded my expectations so much, I'm probably going to say an 8.5.
It did exceed my expectations, and it did fill in some blanks. There were some parts of it I thought were a little corny, but I I was okay with it. It was enjoyable. Shazam, which you didn't get.
I didn't get that one. Yeah.
I came in with low expectations. This actually kind of pulled a swerve on me and surprised me.
Oh,
I
I'll
was not
definitely.
expecting the book that it ended up being.
Hmm.
There is a like major turn here. Oh, Andrew. Hey, Tara, how are you? I'm glad you can
Hi.
join us. So Shazam was actually pretty enjoyable. During it, they keep giving you kind of hints where like he keeps saying like, "I'm not Billy. Stop calling me Billy." And there's kind of a murder mystery going on.
See, I feel like that's kind of the enjoyable content. I mean, I think that Shazam is a little bit lesser known, maybe less beloved than Flash. Like there are people who are Flash stans. Like Flash is the only character that they read, and depending on which Flash that you prefer, like that's a very highly contested topic. So I feel like when you give little nods like that, like I'm not Billy, you're kind of like giving a nod to who the character is, but you're not making the reader feel stupid. Like, why did I pick this up? This should be a number one. I should be able to just go right into it.
Um, okay, here we go with this book. Superman Worlds at War. Or Worlds of War.
I loved it.
Really?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I did not.
I really
like
did.
it.
Yep. I mean, I feel like the one that I loved, the part that I enjoyed the most, I did love the Midnighter.
I hated that. That
I
backup
felt like it
story
was
by
my,
Becky
I
Cloonan. That
loved
backup
it.
story by Becky Cloonan, I hated in it. It upset me. I
Absolutely.
was like, just give it back to Steve Orlando.
Nope. I was surprised the way that it was written. I'm like, did Steve Orlando do this? Nope. I seriously, I think that the Midnighter story in here was probably my favorite of the week. I mean, I really maybe Nightwing was my favorite of the week, but
I dislike the art on it. Like, I just did not like it at all. Like, I'm not saying it ruined the book for me, but I was just like, oh, Becky, don't write Midnighter, please.
nope, I'm here. I completely disagree. Becky, write all the Midnighter.
Although the Mr. Miracle thing wasn't terrible.
Um, I feel like I'm still it I think that my expectation for what Miracle Man was going to be shifted. So I think that I need to go back like after all of the future state stuff and go and reread the Miracle Man part. I'm really curious how I know we keep saying this, I'm curious how they're going to end up doing the collected volumes. If maybe they'll just do like a 9.99 two-issue Miracle Man or whatever it may end up being.
I like the Black Racer backup story as well with Sia Ohm's art.
Yeah, I thought that was really fun too.
It was different. I liked it. I'm like a 5.5, 6 on it. Like the main story, I just didn't like, and then the Midnighter story, I really disliked.
I'm going to go ahead and say 7.5, 8.
The next Batman issue 2.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get that.
Nope.
This was a little bit better than the first issue, where it kind of went into a little bit more of what's going on in Gotham. At the same time, it still just isn't. I'm not warming up to it at all.
I feel like the next Batman should have easily, hands down, no questions asked, no bars hold. I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it, but it should have easily been the best, the most talked about story. Like that should have been the number one, like pumped out story. I feel like Wonder Woman ended up so far. I think that Wonder Woman has been the standout of out of all of the books so far. Definitely, I think Yara Flora has been like she is the shining star of Future State right now.
The Bat titles weirdly have been very fucking convoluted, and I kind of hate it. The backup story, one of the backup stories, it's spoiler and I Refuse to Call Her Orphan. It's Cassandra Cain, and they're in prison. And it kind of became this women's prison story, and it's Vita Ayala doing the writing with Aniki on art, and I really kind of enjoyed it. It was very much a prison story I did not know I needed.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
There was another story at the end I did not enjoy. It was one of the minis. So that was it for Future State this week. None of the books I'd say were excessively bad. It wasn't like one of the other weeks where we kind of just really jammed down on one of the books.
I, like I said earlier, I think that this has been my favorite week so far. Granted, I didn't read Shazam or Next Batman. Maybe it would change my perception after I read those. But this has been the most solid week so far for me. Consistently, didn't hate any of the titles. I enjoyed all of them, and 100%. I think I am going to go ahead and say I did like Nightwing the most. It surprised me the most about how much I enjoyed it.
For those who follow me on Instagram, saw my reaction to hearing there's a Heroes Reborn happening again with Marvel, which I'm just like, why would you bring back that name of an event that is hated? Like, is Rob Liefeld coming back and rebooting your universe again? Because that's the last time you used that name. That's what that Heroes Reborn name.
I would not be surprised if maybe it's just because some of the other announcements that I've heard about Marvel, especially regarding Donny Cates. I wouldn't be surprised if Donny Cates ended up like having a big part of it or doing something with it, because I feel like
or his real version of crossover. He's going to DC as a exclusive.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting. Yeah, because everybody's like, Venom 200 is like, oh, that's 3 issues from now. Shit. It doesn't really, I don't know, like, it's not a huge announcement. Venom has been popular for a while, so, he's going to leave on top.
Yep, 100%. And I think that when I think of another writer who held on to a character for so long, I do think about Jason Aaron. I think that Jason Aaron held on to the Thor titles for just way too long. I would have liked to see maybe another creator come over. So I think that Donny Cates leaving Venom and maybe giving that to someone else, or maybe whatever the fuck happens in King in Black, maybe Venom won't be a character that will be written. Who knows? So let's see. Maybe Jason Aaron will take over Venom.
No, dog.
Just like just like Tom King on Batman, exactly.
You mean when he was forced off the book, apparently, according to what you hear? Well, you lived a bit long enough to be here. You live long enough to become a villain,
Yep.
So let's get to our picks.
Alrighty. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start. I think that I was going to start with my favorite. Maybe I'll start with something else. I'll start with this because I know we'll both talk about it. Cable. This one, like, seriously, it just keeps being a fun story. It surprises me how much I actually like this character. And of course, there were some beautiful moments during the Ten of Swords event. But I don't know. This was just really cute.
I did like how he's going to mom and dad for advice.
Yeah.
Also, this whole, like, we're stealing mutant babies and he realizes it's Strife. Spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler. The writing is great. The artwork is great. Like, seriously, I am so surprised about how much I like this. And I don't want it to end anytime soon. Like, I hope this is like an ongoing, I hope there isn't like a 7 of 12, whatever it ends up being, because I am here for Fuckboy Cable.
I know my friend asked, they're like, do you just like that Cable because Rob Liefeld hates it so much? I was like, no, I mean, it's a bonus.
Yeah, it's definitely like a selling point. I'm like, oh, okay, like I will continue to support this.
Yeah, I'd say this issue wasn't like one of my favorites right now, but I'd still like 7.5.
Yeah. I like I like what's going on. I'm keeping it. It's on my pull list. It's every month. Love it.
I picked up something that I'm very confused by. Crimson Flower from Dark Horse.
I so like literally 2 pages into this title, I'm trying to find it in my little stack here.
And I
Two
know Matt
pages
Kent
in.
is hit and miss for me.
Um, I did not know what it was going to be when I went into it. And I don't know if I was surprised. I'm probably not going to pick up issue number 2 through whatever, but I might pick up the trade because I think that it's an interesting plot, but this one didn't excite me enough where I'm going to hate read it.
The art really put me off.
I think the artwork is. It took me about halfway to realize that it was giving me R. Crumb vibes for the artwork. And once I maybe leaned into that a little bit, I enjoyed the artwork more because I feel like the first couple pages, I'm like, the artwork could have been completely different on this and been so much better. But I'm still kind of intrigued to see where it goes. And then there's the moment where she goes and she sees the old guy at his apartment, and like the artwork is like that weird kinetic. That's when I really got the
Yeah.
R. Crumb vibes, and I'm like, okay, I like that now, but I think that they maybe could have done different artwork style, and I would have liked it a lot more.
You have to really power through the book to finally kind of get what the fuck is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of a chore. And once I got there, I was like, okay, but is this something I want to pick up on the monthly? And as interesting as the premise is, I don't think I can do that.
No.
This isn't for me, but I think someone else might enjoy it more than I did.
Mm-hmm.
The art was very hard for me to get past. And Matt Kent has always been one of those writers. I either really like it or I'm real hesitant. And I tried this, and I don't think it's for me, but maybe as a trade, like you said, I might try
Mm-hmm.
it later.
I think that Dark Horse has kind of been doing that lately, where the titles are just they're good, but they're not great. So I can definitely someone who doesn't have who has limited funds, or they have to be like, okay, what books are going to be on my list, what are not. Um, I can definitely see people leaving this out for that reason, where it's good, but it's like this isn't my must-have for the week.
Yes. And you go.
My next book, let me see. Do. I know we're gonna talk about. Okay, I'll just talk about. No, let me do this one. Sorry. Because I know that you'll talk about one of them, and I'm like, let me talk about this one. So I breathed a body.
I picked it up.
This was such a weird title, and Zach Thompson, who I just finished last week, the last issue of Lonely Receiver came out, which was a really weird, like, all I can say is like Black Mirror episode, and this is another Black Mirror episode. So Zach Thompson is apparently writing all of Black Mirror, and it's being put out in comic book form through Aftershock because this book has it's such a weird cover. Like you see this person, like it's all sinewy and you can see their insides, and it's basically about this YouTuber person who
Obsession with social media.
obsessed with social media and like going live and things like that, and ends up, I don't know if I want to spoiler it,
No,
but
I feel like we need
something.
to have him on the show because, like, I have a lot of questions.
I agree. I have a lot of questions as well. I like it though. I'm definitely gonna pick, like,
Yes,
because Lonely Receiver did the same thing. It was like, what the hell is going on with issue 1? And I don't know if I would consider, like, Lonely Receiver was one of my favorite books from this last year, even though it ended in 2021. I would say it's one of my favorites for 2020, I guess, however you want to do that. So Lonely Receiver did the same thing to me. So I'm sold on it.
Yeah, like it kind of felt like it was a statement about current society and the obsession with social media and like video and everything else. So, as someone who does YouTube and Instagram and stuff, I was just like, some stuff I was like, all right, you made your point.
And
Gotcha.
I don't feel like, because obviously the character that it follows, the young kid who like is going live, like
Milo.
Milo, and he or they end up getting in trouble, and their dad, who is like carefully curated this young kid, gets in trouble at the dinner table basically, and storms up to his room, and is they say something like, I'll be up in my bedroom, I'll be going live, or whatever it is. And so there's moments like that where it could almost feel like you're making fun of that culture. But I think at the same time, being a millennial who understands that sentiment a little bit, I didn't feel like it was making fun of it.
I gave this an 8.5.
Yep.
I felt pretty strong about it. Like, I did not know what to expect. What is up, Chris?
Yep. Powell's City of Books. I love them. Cats.
So my next pick is going to be Barbalian number 3.
That was going to be one, and I'm like, nah, I know Dan's going to talk about this one. So.
Oh god, to start with that first page of this book and just fucking gut punch you right the fuck away.
Yep.
With the nurse on the phone with the person's mother, and she's like, well, I don't believe that he's sick from sins.
Yeah. For anyone not reading Barbalian, like, just a quick primer about this. It's set in the world of Black Hammer. Barbalian is one of the characters in Black Hammer. They are from Mars. So in this story, they are basically living a double life, 2 double lives, whatever. Maybe spoiler, I don't know, whatever. But anyways, yeah. So they're basically living a different life, and they are a queer person living in Earth during the 80s, during the AIDS epidemic. So there is seriously so much going on in this. And I know that when the first issue of this came out, I was like, Colonel Weird is my jam. I do love Colonel Weird. However, I think Barbalian, especially with this issue, like, this one's doing it.
Hello, Perry. Also, thank you, Film Noir, for the compliments on our shirts. For me, Barbalian is better than Colonel Weird. They're both good in their own way, but like the emotional drama going on in Barbalian just like twists you into knots.
Mm-hmm. I think that for issue 1 of Colonel Weird, hit me like that immediately within issue 1, where Barbalian hit me with that in issue 1, but really did it in issue 2, and then really in issue 3, where Colonel Weird hasn't done that the second and third as much as this one did. So Black Hammer is one of my like favorite books. I love Jeff Lemire, and his writing on this, like, I cried reading this one.
So. We need to go back to the world of Black Hammer at some point.
Mm-hmm. I actually, I just picked up, because I bought about 30 books from Powell's this past week, and I ended up picking up two books from the universe that I hadn't kept up with.
I can agree with that. Colonel Weird has the better art. Tyler Crook.
I think that they're both stylistic for their own reasons and fit the worlds. I would love to see Christian Ward doing like a Colonel Weird, because he has that really cool like cosmic, like, I think of Odyssey.
Tradmore.
Mm-hmm.
This issue just was like emotional punch after emotional punch. Giving it 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It had touching moments in it, and again, like Barbalian's living all these multiple lives, basically, like just all these lies. And there's an interaction with him and the nurse Rose, which I just adored.
For sure.
And it kind of takes you in the head of like what someone who's been exiled from his planet because of his sexuality, basically, and then comes to Earth, still dealing with bigotry.
Yeah. Yep.
And like double closeted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Double, triple closeted for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just, I think it's a book that will open your eyes to like shit that was going on back then.
Yeah.
So like honestly, this whole series, pick up. Mm-hmm. Just pick up fucking Black Hammer. Just do it.
And like I've said before, I don't think that you need to read the whole Black Hammer series. Like, just go ahead and pick up volume 1. Maybe volume 2 to get a little bit more, because you're gonna want to pick up volume 2 of Black Hammer, I think. But I do think that pick up this for sure.
And their version of Swamp Thing gets it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually knocks up somebody, but hey, that's a whole other thing. Your next title.
My next title, let me think. I was going to talk about one. I might talk about, but I know that I'll talk about some of these other ones.
I talked about Kill a Man, Chris. Jen never got through it.
Never got through it. Yeah.
I liked it.
I couldn't. It's heavy. It's heavy.
Yes.
To say the least. I'm going to go ahead and talk about this one. I do have plenty of others to talk about, so I know that I'm just going to talk about the main 3. Rain Like Hammers. I don't know if you got a chance to pick this one up.
I read it.
It was a weird, like, indie. I think that I'm sold on it, but
my attention span wasn't there.
I think that, did you read the back of it? What Brandon Graham has to say in the back of it?
I didn't.
So I think that reading the back of it, what he has to say changed my perspective a little bit. I haven't gone back and reread it after that. But he mentions being in, like living in Canada, living in Vancouver, and like having some life experiences that is written about in the book. And maybe also because I didn't even know this, but he is in Portland. So I read this not necessarily with that perspective, but so anyways, I actually really liked it. Is it going to be like the next big title? Probably not, but I liked where it's going, and I liked that it's this like weird emotional kind of sci-fi dystopian title, but not heavy on the like Blade Runner vibes or anything like that. And of course I get Mobius vibes from the artwork, so that's a plus too. I'm going to go ahead and rate it as 7.5, 8.
Hi, Kim. Okay, so Philadelphia 12 came out.
I knew that you were going to talk about that one, so I'm like, oh, okay. Yep.
So, one, the A cover by Jason Sean Alexander with Abigail Adams on it. It's fucking dope.
Mm-hmm.
Loving that. Shocked kind of how this ended.
Yeah. So this is the end of the second arc. I thought that it would give me more like of a punch. But
and I read what happened after with his little note in it. So,
there were some.
Oh, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, there's some incredible artwork in here. When we interviewed him several months ago, he mentioned that there's one particular character in here that was kind of based off his daughter. And so when I saw that, I just thought that was absolutely adorable.
She starts with the cat in her mouth and then has the daughter in her mouth. So it's kind of interesting. The pages with Tevin Seesaw talking to his grandma in heaven. I just love, especially where he's like, on the real, I ain't believe I had anything to offer anybody, but no matter how low I got, your words was in my head. They gave me hope.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was like incredibly sweet. And my favorite page in this was the Purgatory with John Adams walking. And he has that realization of like, not until the moment have I given those times a second thought, but those times were the love child of the present day. These are the types of men, both are flawed, but one defends his flaws, the other seeks to overcome them. Perhaps purgatory has a purpose. Where he talked about, I never owned slaves, but accepted that others did.
Mm-hmm.
I resigned the subjugation of women as a reality of the times. Upon reflection, I was complicit in allowing the stench of sin to ferment America's sensibilities.
Especially, thinking about the former government that we just had in power, released on Martin Luther King Day of all days, the 1776 project or whatever it was, basically saying, well, the founding fathers were still really good dudes, and we shouldn't even talk about them having slaves, or the majority of them having slaves, because they were still really good dudes. And so it's interesting to read something like this or something like that in this book, where we're coming to terms that yes, the founding fathers were probably not the heroes that we think that they are.
And I did a story with the page on it on Instagram, just kind of saying, Roddy seems to like every book have like at least a page or a panel that kind of catches me off guard for the depth of it. And that particular page, because that was something when we talked to him about the first book, where Adam's like, I have something none of them have had, perspective and time to have perspective. And he's actually going, purgatory was good for me. I got to think on these things.
Yeah.
And then Jason Sean Alexander had posted about this page in particular.
Yeah,
how
that was a good one.
Ronnie's a huge Swamp Thing, John Toddleben fan, and when Seesaw Goes to Hell, he wanted to kind of ape Toddleben's art there a little bit. And I thought he was successful, and I like that Seesaw went in and was just like, oh no, I ain't a bitch. I'm just going to tell Satan how it is. Was very surprised by one of the cliffhangers at the end here.
The
character who got bit.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that at all. And the last page of just those last like 2 panels with Abigail, dear, I think we need to talk. And that is the last page.
I do think that we got like it did hit me, but I think that it didn't hit me at the end the way that the first volume did. It was still such a solid arc, but now I'm like, okay, I need the next issue. I need issue 16 tomorrow.
And then they back up the Elysium Gardens. We find out the wolves are going to Philadelphia.
And they did this in the this must have been the 60s. So they were doing this in the 60s. Because they're still referring to Malcolm X. So this
they're basically the Black Panthers.
Yeah, so they are So they would be in Philadelphia at this point, where all the vampires are there in Philadelphia now. So I would not be surprised if this whole Elysium Gardens is not the backup story and is a main plot point in arc 3.
I believe so. Incredibly solid issue, even though it didn't wrap everything up tidy like the last arc did. 8.5 for me, like easy.
Yeah. For sure.
Your next title.
Like I said, I got a lot, so I'll go
ahead. I had a lot too. I also read something that I regret reading.
Oh, well, one of the ones that I did really enjoy, Abbott. So
I picked up the trade for the first.
So I actually had not picked up the trade for the first one, I picked up the trade for the first one because I had not read it, and I read it before I read this one. I honestly think that you don't even need to do that to read this one because it gives you a pretty solid primer. Abbott, the trade, the first volume is set in 1972. It was described to me by Nick at my local shop as female Constantine. So, like, she is a bisexual detective in the 70s who smokes a lot and is, or sorry, a reporter, like investigative journalist, and she's investigating some spooky shit happening in Detroit in 1972. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I also read that Saladin Ahmed, who wrote this, was born in 76. So I thought that was really funny that he based it in the 70s. But I did end up getting both the covers.
They're, the one on your right hand, I thought was one of the better ones.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
like
that this one reminds me a lot of just the first trade. Thought I had it right here, but I don't. Maybe I do. Yeah. So the trade right here, and then let me try to. There you go.
Oh yeah, actually, it is.
They're like almost the same thing. So I did read the trade. It's really good. It's $17.99. I kept thinking that this was Image, but it's actually Boom.
I read King in Black #3.
Okay.
Nice throwdown with Thor and Null and Dylan, who's not being a villain.
Yeah.
I know how John liked the Dylan villain. Decent. I don't. I'm okay with this storyline going on, but I'm also at like, all right, just let it end.
I mean, it ends at what, 5?
Three more issues, 2 more issues of it, I think.
Yeah. It's not, it's not horrible. Last week I did read the Spider-Gwen versus Carnage.
Yes. Which you liked.
Versus Carnage, and I loved it. It was probably my favorite of the offshoots, whatever. But I've been enjoying the series, surprisingly. Normally I don't like events like this. I'm not a big like Venom fan or anything like that, but I feel like it's not really as much Venom, it's as much as it's just like the Avengers versus Null.
Pretty much. First Ebb was good. Read it for book club. I think that's going to be my vacation next week. I'm going to catch up and get rid of my fucking TBR. It's a noble cause. All 90 issues are sitting.
I was going to say, I've got a lot of books that I need to get through. So this is definitely going to help me get through my like 100 books in 90 days.
What was your next one?
Really quick, I'll go ahead and answer film noir. So how much do you think you need to read outside to understand King in Black? There was a Null guidebook that came out, and I will be the first one to tell you I have no clue what the hell is going on. I read the Null guidebook and I've just been reading this, and it's been mildly enjoyable. There's a couple of different like crossovers, like there was the Return of the Valkyries that did one. There was the Union. I didn't like the Union. Return of the Valkyries was all right. Gwenom versus Carnage was my favorite. Let me think. I think they're also doing like Black Cat. I would just say get the Null guidebook if you can. It had 3 different previous storylines for like Venom, and I read that and it was it. I would almost even say you probably could just pick up King in Black and just have fun. So my next pick, I'll go ahead and talk about Terminal Punks. It's published by Mad Cave Studios. It's been a really solid read. It's about a group of young adults who have a sorry, I just got a message from Taco Bell. They apparently have a $0. I gotta go, guys. Taco Bell's calling. Sorry. So anyways, Terminal Punks. is about a group of kids or young adults who are in a band. They go on this flight to New York for a battle of the bands. They end up in an airport terminal where there is a breakout of an infection where there's a whole bunch of like rabid animals. And I feel like it's not even about that as much as their personal relationship. And it digs into, I think that even though you can be punk, doesn't mean that you are punk. In the way that, if you're still like a shitty person, like you could be diverse, but if you're still a shitty person, you're still a shitty person. So they're like dealing with that, and they're like, I don't know. This was a really good emotional read. And there's only 5 issues, and I'm sad because I love it and I want more. So Terminal Punks by Mad Cave Studios. Pick it up.
So I had a moment of I was overjoyed and at the same time pissed off. So I thought for sure this was the last issue of 7 to Eternity. Nope, there's one more to go.
Womp womp.
It was a good issue. Like, it's building up. Some people died, some people lived. Some stuff happened in between. Jerome Opina's art still continues to impress me in it.
Yeah.
The main protagonist is getting shittier as a person as the story goes on.
As Rick Remender will grace us with.
I was like sitting down going, okay, this is the last issue. And then it was like, to be continued. I was like, oh, come the fuck on.
What?
I swear he said this was the last issue. But okay, like one more. Like, I'm ready for it to end. Again, I liked it. I think this is probably one of my favorite series outside of Deadly Class because it's so different. It's not steeped in like any world we know.
Yeah.
I'd still recommend the series. It's only 27 issues right now.
Only like that's what, 6 trades? Maybe 5?
5 probably. Oh shit, no, sorry, it's issue 16. I forgot. This went on the longest hiatus ever for like a year. Almost.
So then that's probably the 4th trade there.
3 trades.
Yeah.
Anywho, so yeah, I was a little bit bummed because I was like sitting down going, it's gonna end. All right, let's get to it. And I sat down, like I literally saved it for last. And yeah, that's the thing. Your next book.
Speaking of authors that we just hate and cannot stand, I read Batman Catwoman. I actually picked up issue number 2. I still don't like the writing on it because it does that like back and forth. But when I went into issue number 1 of this, I didn't know that it was going to do that. It doesn't give you any visual indication that it's doing that. But going in issue 2, knowing that I did it or that it was going to do it, I did enjoy it slightly more than issue 1. I still just don't love it though.
So I have something to confess. I saw Nat post during her live stream the other day some of the art in it. And I'm like, you know what? Let me see what this is about. So I picked up 1 and 2 on digital and read it.
And you probably still hate it or love it.
I love Clayman's art.
Yeah. The artwork is fantastic, but here's my thing is that if you can't, this goes from like the past to the future to the past to the future. So if you can't give me more of a visual indication that you're doing that, like your artwork can still be good, but it's not.
I want more of this character, and I'm not getting this character. It's bumming me out. But at least stuff's happening in it. Like it's still like a 5.5 for me. Like I don't fucking understand. Like what's the point? What is the point except we're time jumping and we know Batman's dead?
I think that if they if maybe Tom King wrote the back and forth, because it feels like it slips into the back and forth so like jarringly. I wish that the writing was like, okay, we're going to do 3 or 4 pages in the present, then we're going to do 3 or 4 pages in the past, and then we're going to do 3 or 4 pages and go back and forth. But it'll be like half a page in the future or the present, and then half a page in the past, and then go just very abruptly. So that might improve it a little bit for me.
I knew I was in for it as soon as, like, on this issue, I opened to the title page and it said Bat and Cat. And I was just like, wow, we're just going to keep hammering this motherfucker into the ground, except with a title page this time. Yeah, I hate myself. I swore I wasn't going to. I still haven't touched Rorschach. I'm not going to.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I was like, I saw the cover for Rorschach and I'm like, oh, I might pick it up. I know that like either one of the shops that I go to will have the back issues so I can pick up from issue 1. And then I'm like, no, just don't. Just don't. But hey, I'm sure that I feel like a lot of people do like it. So
do they? I as soon as like Dylan, who's pretty positive about a lot of stuff, was like, fuck this book, I was like, all right, well, that's a sign. Your next book, if you have more.
Oh, I have but this was my book. Do you have more?
Sorry. Oh yeah, Miskatonic #3.
I didn't even pick it up because issues 1 and 2 didn't do it for me, and I'm like, I'm trimming down the dumb bitch money that I'm spending. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, it had a lot of Herbert West in it.
Okay.
The Reanimator, so that was like kind of my highlight.
Man, now I feel like I need to pick that up.
So I feel 100% this is going to be probably a better trade.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on and there's like references galore that maybe like when you can sit down and like kind of digest it all in one shot, it might be better. It's all right. I mean, I know that's like a really enthusiastic.
Yeah. Again, I think the thing is that for what title did I say before? Crimson Flower. It's like if you have to like, you know, you're not like me spending stupid money on stuff. If you're, because I'll buy things, I'll buy the single issues and then the trade. Like this is one I may trade wait for. I may not. Who knows?
You're next.
I'm surprised we didn't talk about this one earlier, but Once and Future 15. There
a lot of revelations in it.
There is, and I did enjoy this moment with Lancelot. I thought that was kind of interesting. I keep forgetting, and I mean, this is on me, not necessarily the writing, but I keep forgetting how steeped in like just British lore this book really, really is, because we're really getting into the Arthurian legends. I feel like the last couple of Kieran Gillen books that I've read have been like especially Die, and I think this is where Die has been not doing it for me, because we see the character talking and then we see them thinking and then we see them talking and thinking and to me that the flow of that is just very jarring. So in Once and Future, we don't see them thinking, like we don't get to see their internal monologue. We just see what they're actually saying and what they're actually doing. So I feel like at this point, I'm enjoying Once and Future more than I'm enjoying Die. Maybe unpopular opinion, but
I thought a certain character was going to die in this. For a minute, I thought she was going to die, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know how that's going to work. And then, you know, home invasion. I was like, okay, well, never mind. Very interesting where she's like, well, Grandma took Duncan. So there's a story there that I'd like to see unfold.
And that's the thing, is that I'm ready for Die and Once and Future are basically on the same issue right now. Like Die is what, 16, 17? Or maybe is it more further along?
No, I think it's 15.
15. So anyways, I want to see more of Once and Future, and I'm ready for Die to Die. I'm ready for Die to be over, and I want to see more of this. This is
Once in Future, you can mine so much with all the different stories.
Mm-hmm. I think that if Die was written differently, it would be more interesting. But I'm kind of tired and I'm burned out of the internal monologue in Die.
I still feel it needs to end at issue 20 because that would be the perfect number.
Perfect, right?
Or 21. You get bonus, like a +1 to the roll.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
What's your next pick? I've got, I think, 3 or 4 more over here.
Oh, so I read Savage Circus 1 and 2.
Oh, I keep forgetting to pick those up. So I'm going to put that on my list right now for next week.
Issue 1 was forgettable, and for some reason it reminded me of Reindeer Games a little bit. It takes place on Christmas Eve. It really starts out with a guy, a soldier in Vietnam, whose platoon is wiped out by this great ape, like a King Kong type thing. And he goes back into the thick to take it, and he starts a circus with all these creatures. Well, there's a heist going on Christmas Eve, and the train with the circus animals gets hit by the thieves trying to get away, and the animals get loose in the town and start ripping people apart. It's interesting. First issue is forgettable. Second issue is better.
Okay. So do you think that it would be a better like collected issue thing?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe if I can't find it, I think that I probably could at maybe
I got it on digital.
Oh, okay.
I'd say it's like a 6.
Okay.
I'm surprised it didn't go get published by Hill House.
Really?
Because it kind of felt like that kind of title. Your next one.
My next one, I'll go ahead and talk about Dr. Aphra. Just solid as always, man.
Jenny Freeze variant this week that went fucking nuts.
Oh, because of course it did. But I seriously, I know that like every month when I talk about this book, I'm just like, Dr. Aphra needs their own show. I'm not watching Mandalorian. I didn't watch this season, so I'm just like, I would rather have a Dr. Aphra show than a Mandalorian show at this point. But I don't want there to be a show because I still want to buy Darth Vader #3 at a reasonable price. So if you know anyone who has Darth Vader #3 who'd be willing to sell it at a reasonable price, I will totally buy it. So anyways, Dr. Aphra is a... so Dr. Aphra, seriously, it's really good. Better than Mandalorian, in my opinion.
I keep hearing that like they're stealth introducing her in one of the side shows. Because there's a character who was cast in, I forget what spin-off show coming out, and they think it's Dr. Aphra.
It wouldn't be Bad Batch. I'm trying to remember the timeline.
Bad Batch is animated.
Oh, that's right. What's one of the other ones? It's because there's like 3 or 4 like Star Wars shows that are coming out.
Apparently there's a Dr. Aphra novel that came out.
Oh, I didn't know that. I feel like my attention span is fucked. So I was trying to like, what's another word that I could use? Totally non-existent attention span. So I feel like novels at this point are just, it's hard for my brain to really just sit down and focus and finish one. So comic books are where it's at for me.
They seem to think that it's going to be in season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Damn it, that means I have to watch season 2.
Season 3 though. But I mean,
I feel like I'll have to watch season 2 in order to end up watching season 3. We'll see.
Yeah, I gotta finish that. I did watch WandaVision, the
Me
newest
too.
episode. We'll talk about that after our
I was
picks.
going to say, because I have 2 more comic book picks, but you go with your next.
This isn't really a big one here, but I read it was Snow Angels by Jeff Lemire and Jock. It is a Comixology original.
Oh, I was like, that wasn't even on my radar, and it totally should be. Okay.
So this was just a sampler of what the book's going to be, and I'm very intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a whole lot they gave away in this book, but I always like Jock's art, and it's Lemire, so we'll see how it is. But it was just a free little sampler, and then if you have Comixology Unlimited or Prime Reading, you'll get it free. So that was just something that
I was just about to say, who's publishing it, but it's Comixology exclusive. Got it. Amazon.
So go ahead, your next one.
My next one, I'll go ahead and talk about We Live number 4. This one, the whole series has been kind of emotional, but I feel like there were some really emotional moments in this one. Another post-apocalyptic tale. Only a certain amount of people can leave Earth. You got to have the bracelet to leave Earth, and then there's stuff happening that's kind of preventing that. So, but this one, like, look at how cute that cover is. I'm going to try not to get, but like that cover is just really cute. It's really emotional and heartbreaking at times. So.
I finally caught up on Nailbiter.
Oh, I don't think
that I never read that last issue.
I don't think that I caught up with. Did I? I'm confused. The weeks are all blending together. Time is an illusion.
Yes, it's almost just like during the pandemic.
We're still in a pandemic.
Oh wait, we are?
We're still here. We are still in a pandemic.
I checked the science, though.
Yeah.
It said it was going to be done by...
You know, Denny Villanueva said that it would be over, and it's not.
Fucking lies. Yeah, so I guess that finished the arc, the last issue, and it shows the game and reveals who the mastermind is this time. And it's an old girl plaything of the nail biters, and she likes plucking eyes out with her nails.
Oh, maybe I did see that one because there's a moment like...
Yeah. Anyway, I'm still looking forward to it. It's not as good as the first run, but I mean, it's always like kind of expectations, diminished. I'm not thinking straight right now. Anyway, your next book.
This one's my last one, and this series ended with this issue. Yasmin, by Scout Comics. Issue number 6 was the last of the series. It's really good. I don't necessarily... I think that this one was one of those that I had certain expectations. For some reason, I thought this one was going to be more of a like supernatural, like maybe almost ghost story. Totally is not. Very more biographical slice of life, but not. But this one, it was really good. It ended really, really well. And I think that this one will be a really cool trade pickup. But I'm not really sure how Scout does their trades. So we'll see. But Yasmin was really good. About a young Muslim woman who ends up moving into I don't know if it'd be a small town, but she moves from the Middle East over. And, American racism just kind of gets the best of her sometimes, and her past gets the best of her, I think.
American racism. It's not racism.
Yeah. But that's the last of the books that I read this week.
So there's a Tula Lotay cover for Department of Truth for next week that I really, really want. So I'm probably going to end up ordering that from Andrew to make sure I get it.
Yeah.
Nailbiter Returns number 9 comes out. Post Americana number 2 comes out, which...
Ooh. I enjoyed that one a lot.
I feel like it's been 2 months since that last came out.
Yeah.
Colonel Weird comes out.
And is this the last one? of the series? Is it
Number
like
404, yes.
404? Yep.
IDW, not a whole lot. Marvel, yeah.
We'll probably get a King in Black title tie-in.
Excalibur, King in Black, Namor, Fantastic Four, Daredevil number 26.
I actually, this week, it's not right here, but I did end up picking up the, what is it, second printing variant cover for last month's Daredevil with Elektra in the
Yes.
costume.
New Mutants comes out.
Written by Vita Ayala.
Yes, she's still on it with Rod Rice.
They are still on it. She
yes.
uses they, them pronouns.
Strange Academy. Werewolf by Night, which I have not read yet. Wolverine number 9, there's a really cool alien variant. X-Men number 17, really cool Storm cover.
I am so mad that I haven't kept up with the alien variants. I was like, I'm going to pick up every single one of them. And my dumb butt did not end up like ordering them. I just thought I was going to be able to pick them up. Won't wah. Could not.
Dune number 4, House Atreides.
I thought you said June. And I'm like, June. Dune number 4. Dune by Boom.
There is a Mike Del Mundo B variant there. There's probably other variants that are ratio.
I was going to say, are they doing like G? Are they up to GH?
Something is Killing the Children, number 14.
Okay.
Unkindness of Ravens, number 5.
I thought that was a limited series.
Wait, I think they fucked it up on here because it says number 5 and 4, and that can't be right. So it's gotta be number 4.
But that's the thing is that it was supposed to be a 4, and then in the end of issue 4, it said to be continued. So maybe it was supposed to be a 5. I don't know.
Maybe. We only find them when they're dead, number 5. Both covers are actually really interesting. I think the A cover, though, by Simone DeMeo.
Mm.
And I never read the Black as Fuck series. Did you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's 2. So there's Black and then Black AF, Black as Fuck. So I guess
Dead End Kids. I never read that, but that's coming out. Source Point Press has a lot of books coming out this week. Hamilton Graphic History, America's Celebrated Founding. Kaiju Score number 3. I'm about that series.
I think that it's going to be a better trade read than a single issue.
I feel like I should pick up this trade paperback just because of the title, Metal Shark Bro. And it's called What the Fin.
Is that Scout Comics?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yeah. Behemoth Comics, Purple Oblivion, has a girl in an S&M outfit on the cover. That's always...
Done. I will be picking up 10 copies of that, please and thank you.
Scout Comics, Sweet Downfall. Stargazer number 5 of 6.
Okay, yep. Solid series. I think that you're probably not going to be able to find any of the single issues for that, but I do think that the trade is going to be fantastic.
I checked DC and I always know I'm going to be disappointed.
It's just so future state heavy, and then like random titles here and there. It's hard to be like, I feel like excited about any other DC titles other than future state.
The Harley Quinn book I've been picking up by Sean Gordon Murphy and his wife.
The Black Label?
Yes. Hey, John. I'm going to pick up the DC Comics Art of Liber Mayhew because I just love his art. Future State Aquaman. Future State Batman Superman. Future State Dark Detective number 2. Legion of Superheroes, Suicide Squad Future State, Superman versus Imperious Lex, Joker Harley Criminal Sanity number 7 of 8, Last God number 12. I love that series.
I have heard, I feel like, so many good things about Last God.
Just John and I.
No, oh my goodness, what is his name from Comics Kings?
Oh, Brandon.
Yeah, he highly recommended it. But because it was already partially through the series and one of those weird hiatus during the beginning of the pandemic, because we are still in the pandemic, I think that I'm just ready for that to be like collected.
The Other History of the DC Universe number 205 comes
Number
out.
2, issue 1 was so, so good.
I love both covers, actually.
Hmm.
They show 2 characters that don't get really focused on very much at all.
Hmm.
Strange Adventures number 8. I don't know why I'm still getting it, but I am.
And it's 8 of 9, or is it 8 of 12?
8 of 12.
Okay.
Yes, 8 of 12. So that's kind of it for the pull list. And okay, let's talk about WandaVision. We're going to keep it as spoiler free as possible.
I do really quick just want to give a recap of episodes 1 and 2. I don't think that there was anything too spoilery because I don't think we were given any extra information that the trailer didn't. In the first 2 episodes. Like, if you watch the trailer, you pretty much get the feel for the first 2 episodes. So basically, Wanda and Vision are living their best Bewitched / Dick Van Dyke / I Love Lucy, like late night television, black and white.
And it just got colorized.
And yeah, so in the first 2 issues, the first 2 episodes, you just see them, you know that they know that they're not part of like this world. Like they know that they're outsiders, I guess, and they're trying to fool everyone into thinking that they're living this normal life, but they know they have a secret that they are Vision and Scarlet Witch. Like they know this and they're trying to keep it from people. First 2 episodes I felt like were really slow, and then episode 3 got me.
Paul Bettany has the craziest like Starsky and Hutch 70s hair in this. That's fucking insane. Like the wig they put on him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they've kind of shown in the trailers that Wanda's pregnant in it. It totally aped Bewitched during when she was giving birth because like shit was going crazy. Things were spinning.
Yep.
Dishwashers exploding. Then there's a little bomb that drops near the end, and Wanda starts doing some shit in it that kind of like starts making you realize what's going on.
The only way that I'm going to
House of M.
Yes. I would also say, like, for anyone who's like not familiar with what that means, like, is that there is now like a chip in the armor, maybe, or that there is a crack in the wall of the universe. And I don't want to spoil it, but we do get a full color episode. Like, I really enjoyed that because we do get little nods of color in the first 2 episodes. We get that like Pleasantville where like there's color, but now it's in full color.
And there's a dark foreboding atmosphere starting to hang over it.
Yeah.
I do love that Craig Robinson is in this as one of the neighbors.
Was it Craig Robinson?
Yes, it was. From The Office and
Yeah.
Daryl. He was the neighbor who was like trimming his bushes and like cutting into the wall.
Oh.
God, I can't. I don't even. I can't talk about that part with the other neighbor who just showed up.
Mm-hmm.
very interesting. I kept looking for any little subtle like Easter eggs going on or that shows you, but I didn't catch many, but I didn't really go back and pay attention and watch it again.
This is definitely a show. I went and watched the first two episodes again, either yesterday or the day before yesterday. I did watch it over, so it still has like a good rewatch value, in my opinion. So I definitely think the third episode, I'm probably going to go back and watch once or twice again. Um, I do like each episode has a like a commercial in it, and you get like a little sneak into Hydra with each one. So this one is Hydra soap or whatever it might be, or Hydrate, whatever it ends up being. So there's little nods to the Marvel
Yeah.
universe.
Um, I it's charming still. Like Paul Bettany must be having like a ball doing this show because
Mhm.
it's just so off brand because he's always playing like grim and kind of like serious.
I imagine that he is like a Shakespearean trained actor. And
Yeah.
I think that he gets to channel a lot of that being like a um, kind of almost goofy and aloof, like white suburban dad. But then you do see these glimpses into Vision where it come. So there's this weird kind of balance between the characters.
And again, he's wearing that fucking wig and it's killing me.
Yeah.
Oh boy, like I'm just sitting there going, what is God, I can't stop watching that hair flop around. Like all he's missing is like a cardigan sweater,
Yeah.
which
Like,
he might have in the next one.
oh, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if you did a Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood,
And then we find out the names of the children, which
which
for any
I
young Avengers fan.
well, I was kind of disappointed because I was hoping more that it was going to be based off of Tom King's Vision. So I was expecting, I don't want to, I'm not going to go deeper into episode 3 for anyone who's not watched it, but yes.
No, it's weird. I think they overhyped it being like Tom King's Vision.
Especially the suburban like house
Yeah,
life type thing. Yeah.
this feels more like the limited series that came out like in the 80s.
Mm.
Except, witchcraft, like Agatha Harkness was training her how to use her powers. Magneto shows up to hold the babies. So I think that pretty much is it. We're almost at the hour and a half mark. So next Friday at 9 o'clock, 6 p.m. Pacific, we will be talking with Ronnie Barnes. We'll be talking Philadelphia, Zombie Love LLC company he formed. We will also have Dee from FTO Nerd Talk, flipping tables. So really excited to have that discussion because got a lot of stuff I need to start writing down, questions I might have, or like things I know I want to like touch on. Also, I saw he's working on a Tiger Woods documentary, and I'm kind of like curious about that. That's on his, and see what information we can get about the Philadelphia pilot and what's going on with that. Also, the things that make white people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Totally interested in seeing what he's got. And Jen, you're on later tonight with Hero and the Kid at 9 o'clock.
It'll be 9 o'clock
Eastern.
It's 6 o'clock my time, so in about 2 hours from now, and then 9 o'clock Eastern. So just 2 hours from now, basically. It'll be Will from Hero and the Kid, and it'll also be Bearded Comic Bro, I think Fire Guy Ryan, Bullseye Bob from Everything Comics. I don't think that Samantha's going to be there this week, and I think Jason from Heroes to Icons is gonna. I think that's his channel name, so we'll be there.
And then Sunday you have your casual comic show. I don't remember what time of the day it is because I'm always asleep.
Well, so normally I work later shifts on Sunday, so I normally do it like early. This last week, because I had an early shift on Sunday, Mars and I did it a little bit later, but we have a special guest joining us this week. Nat will be joining us this week. She left a really like cute comment on one of our other videos, and I was like, whenever you want to join us, like please and thank you. So I'm like 90% sure she'll be there, but
if you do it at night, it's usually like a strong chance. If you're doing it early in the day, because for kids and everything, it's
yeah. Well, I'm excited to even just think about her being there because she's a sweetheart.
Oh, very much. She's one of my favorite people, and she's always been super kind to us.
So excited to talk to her again because I feel like it's every now and then. Like normally, it's just like me like liking one of her incredible Instagram posts, and then her being on here every now and then. So I'm excited to see if it works out.
Nat is the comic queen. She was on Lost in Comics, I think, for their year-end thing that broke her trying to get her ratings together because she was like, I need help. Like, I don't know what this list is. And as always, check out Cine Reads and Read Across the Stars and their channels. I have the links in my link tree on my Instagram. And like, comment, share, subscribe, like the button, do that stuff. Somewhere down here, and join us next week. You never know, there could be impromptu shows in between. Usually there'll be a notice about it because Jen sometimes will jump on a Wednesday and show what she got. I sometimes get stuff in the mail that I don't remember ordering and will go on and do an Instagram live. I may even do some movie talk one night because I'm off for my birthday for a couple of days. So,
and that's on is it the 29th or the 31st?
31st, 29th is when we're talking to Rodney.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye.